Welcome back, everybody. It's Christopher Naiman. Some more question and answers we're going to go over. This is February 17th, 2021. Can do some updating of some questions that I've noticed on here. So let's start with this first one from David. David says, welcome back, Christopher. I missed you. Stay safe. Thank you, David. Yeah, you know, I got a lot going on, and I try to get on whenever I can. I got to find another tutorial to give you all, so hopefully I'll be doing a tutorial later. But right now, I want to try to answer some questions that people have been asking here. So let me just move down the road here and see what else is going on. All right, next one is from Carol Braz about the Janome MC9000. She says, I am not sure how to center my embroidery. My instruction manual says to use card 102 and pattern 47, and then you press OK. It makes a stitch, and then you go on to the pattern you want to embroider. However, I do not get the stitch, and when I put in the pattern, it reverts to the start point for that pattern. Can anyone help me out? I bought the machine used, and I don't have a local Janome dealer. Yeah, I have issues with it too, Carol. You know, I play with it just to play with it, but when I want something serious done, I just go to my my Baby Lock and Brother machines. But I would suggest that you contact the Janome company and find somebody there who can troubleshoot and help you. Janome is the manufacturer, and they would be the place to start if you don't have a local dealer near you. That's exactly what I would do. Okay, next one is on the Serger tip, Keep It Smooth, by Nick and Joe Florida, Joe FL. Thanks so much. Yes, I'm a newbie, and I appreciate the advice. You are our new favorite. Please keep making videos. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad I helped you. Okay, now this one from Nellis Maldonado. I did do a Google Translate of what this person was saying, and he or she wants to know, you know, why I'm not speaking in their language. However, when I went to YouTube and watched my video, I was able to do closed caption and set my settings for any language so it would transfer over so people can get the gist of what I'm saying. So just check your settings on YouTube, and you should be able to do that. Next one is from Bethany Hazard. Bethany says, I love your method of flat felt seams. That's on the flat felt seam. Hey, you know what? That's really not my method. There are a lot of techniques in our industry that were created and passed down through generations. This technique I learned from two different people. The first was, there was this place called Cloth World years ago up where I live in Florida, and they had all the women that worked at Cloth World. They knew how to make garments, and there were tons of garments on display in their store, which was so different than today. Today you walk in the stores and all you see is quilts displayed. So, you know, I guess women don't like making garments, but I see women making garments on YouTube. I see men making garments on YouTube. I see men and women making garments on Facebook groups. But you don't see them in the stores or in the sewing, you know, the private sewing stores. You don't see garments. So when I was learning how to sew, this place called Cloth World back then, this was the early 90s, every girl in there knew how to make garments, and they showed me this technique, which was great. And then I found Margaret Islander through the back of sewing magazines, and I bought her videos back then, and they were all on industrial sewing, and she showed how to do this technique also. So I can't take credit for it, but I do use that technique, so I guess you could say my technique, but it's not mine. You know, gotta give credit where credit is due. You know, like, for example, my book Pillows that I wrote, I created all that design, all that texture. That was my creation. I came up with that idea, and I did it. So, and I wrote the book on it, and those designs are my ideas. So those were my ideas and my technique, so I take credit for that. So, and like I make bags. I can't take credit for making bags because bags have been made forever. But I do take credit for the way I had to style them and design them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm glad you like that flat felt seam. Very nice. Thank you. Hope it helps. Here's a question. Do you have to use a special needle for thread why a regular needle can't do it. Well, you know, what I would suggest you do is study needles. If you're a newbie, which you sound like you are, it's so important that you study needles. And what you want to do is you want to go to the website of the needle manufacturer and read what each needle is for and why you need it, that needle for that particular thread. And, oh, here's one, Martha Swartz. She replied to this person, says, Christopher has a video on how to look up information on needles. Yes, I do. I have there is a video that I did, and it shows you how to go to the websites of the manufacturers of needle companies, and you can read all about the needles, and your answer will be right there for you. Plus, much, much more for you to know why you need special type and size needles for different types of fabrics and threads. So it will be best to your interest, and Maria, to learn about different needles. Okay? All right, yeah, that's a newbie question, and that's where I'm going to lead you, is to learn about those needles. Go to the manufacturer websites and read about them. Okay, Anna Bulmer says, thanks for this. I have a Bernina 770, paid a lot for a second bobbin case, but still haven't dared to try. I'm on it this week. Now it's for the bobbin work. Yeah, give it a try. It's a technique that's been around forever. It is so fabulous to do. There's so many creative possibilities, and it just makes your sewing so much more enjoyable. Okay, Kim Adams Ellinger said, thanks so much for this. And this was about my LED bulb replacement on the Singer. And I replaced light bulbs on all my other older machines also. Yes, having that white light to sew with is so awesome to have compared to the old yellow lights. You know, I just recently bought a new car, and the interior lights were still yellow. And I said, what the heck is this? It's a new car. This is 2021. Well, the car actually is brand new. I should say it's used because it only had 23,000 miles, so they consider it used, but it was still practically brand new. But it's a 2017. And well, here's a tip also, everybody. Some very, very wealthy people I know taught me this tip a long time ago. Never buy a car brand new. Once you drive it off the lot, that's it. Buy a car that's a couple years old. You'll get it for much less money, and you'll still have some warranty left on it from the manufacturer. That's a tip I learned from some wealthy people and why they have money today. All right, so anyway, so this car still had warranty on it. It was like brand new. I mean, it still smelled new. But all the lights inside were still yellow, you know? So I bought LED lights and replaced all the LED lights inside my car like I replaced all the LED lights inside my sewing machines, and it makes a big difference. Makes a big, big difference. All right, let's move on. Diana Ribeiro de Mello. I'm really bad at pronouncing names, guys. Really, I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Don't know what she says here, but it's about the MC9000. She might be asking for it to be transferred to another language. Again, use your closed caption in your settings on your YouTube video, and you'll see translation. I found that most all my videos have CC on them, and YouTube puts that on automatically. I don't do that. YouTube does that. Okay, Odeshal on the Thump Thump. Thanks, you just answered my question, solved my problem. Good, I'm glad. Thank you. All right, Deborah Cadiente on the Singer 401A. Chris, you are my hero. I've been sewing for the last 56 years on a Singer 301, most of that time. Until today, I never knew how to use the bulky ruffles. I'm sad there's no formula for the ruffle length, but I'm confident I can figure it out. Thanks so much. Yeah, you know, if you set up a machine, if you do a lot of ruffles, for example, and you're going to use a ruffle foot, what you want to do is keep the setting the same all the time on the ruffler foot. And by keeping that setting, all the settings on the ruffler foot and the machine for the stitch length the same, you will be able to figure out a formula for what's the width that you need to cut for whatever you're using for a pattern. So for me, I don't use it except for the example I did in the video. So you will have a formula once you keep using it and keep the settings exactly the same. You know, that's why so many people have multiple sewing machines in their sewing rooms. They set them all up differently to do something different. I do that in my little factory I've got. Every one of my industrial machines is set up to do something different. In my domestic room, all my domestic sewing machines are set up to do something different. So you never have to set them up, rechange them, everything. So as you grow with your hobby and you do more and more and more, and people say, well, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. But if you're selling your items you make, you're making money. Put some of that money aside to invest in another machine. Okay? You've got to think about how you can generate cash flow, money with sewing. So it's so important. Have that mentality that you got to give it away. You know, you don't have to give nothing away. Nothing. Nobody gives anything away to you. The only time you should give anything away is if you're helping someone who doesn't have anything and they're poor. Those people need a hand up and you need to help them. Okay? But people who have everything they could ever ask for and they're still bored, no, charge them. Charge them. Okay? You get what I'm talking about. You help those who really need the help. Okay? All right. And then you can make money and then you can invest and buy more machines. Okay? All right, here we go. I mean, why would you give someone who's making $100,000 a year something free all the time that you made, that you have to pay for, and you're making nothing on your sewing, and you have to rely on someone else to pay the bills? Think about that, guys. Okay? All right, here we go. Wendy Dan, I'm searching for advice for sewing a buttonhole through many layers of fabric. That's tips for sewing over multiple layers of fabric. You know what I do, Wendy? Listen to me. I just try it. I experiment and I try and I see, like, like when you say multiple layers of fabric, let's think here. Like, people will sew buttonholes on thick wool coats. So how would you do that? Go to YouTube, look up YouTube videos, sew a buttonhole on a wool coat. Look up in sewing books, stuff like that. But experiment. Do never, never, never be afraid to experiment on your own. Try something. And then just keep searching, okay? That's what I do. That's what I do. And that's the honest to God truth. All right, Barbara Van. In fact, when people... Wendy, when people say to me, how did I learn to do this? How did I learn how to sew the industrial way? Well, I invested in my education. I bought Margaret Islander videos. I bought other people's videos. And now I watch YouTube videos, and they have these videos of people in factories sewing. And some of it's just for advertising purposes, but guess what? You get to see how they're holding the fabric. You get to see how they're sewing. Pick up from that. If so many of you are visual learners, learn by watching these videos on YouTube. When they take you to inside industrial factories, watch how they sew, watch what they do. That's how you learn. So, yeah, anyway. All right, I can go on and on, but I'm going to keep going here. Thanks for your question. Very good question. And let me know when you find the answer. Okay, Barbara Vander, what is your tension setting? Mine keeps jam when I try to put through thicker, stretchy neoprene fabric. There isn't much in the manuals as far as to adjust this. It's on the Janome MC9000. Then she says, I have to pull the cloth usually, so maybe I need new feed dogs. Yeah, if you have to pull the cloth, your stitch length is too short, or you need new feed dogs. So, and check your needle, check everything, That's very important. Know your needles, what the proper needle is to use that fabric. Know the proper stitch length for the thickness of the fabric. Know the proper foot to use for that type of fabric. There's a lot of things to be considered when you're sewing. Every experienced sewer will know that. If you are a newbie, then these are the things you need to learn. Now, I don't know where you bought your machine or how long it's been or whatever, but you know what, Barbara, if I were you, I'd call up your local sewing machine dealer and I would take the machine in, first of all, to have it looked at. Every machine should have either yearly or biannual maintenance done on it by your local sewing machine stores. So take it into them, have them look it over, put some, have them clean it, do some maintenance on it, see if there's a problem with it. If there's no problem with it, then it's just you're not knowledgeable enough on how to sew on that stuff, and you can learn. And check with the dealers and see if they have classes. Check online. Look for the type of fabric you're sewing on. Look at the needles from the needle company and see what they suggest. So all that information is out there for you. You just have to take initiative to really look really hard and learn. And especially if you're newbies. Now, I'm going to tell you newbies something. You newbies have it a lot easier today than I did. I had actually spent a lot of money and buy videos in the back of magazines and catalogs in my day. I had to invest in the whole Singer library of books and other people's books. Today, you all got YouTube. And YouTube is free. All you need to do is pay for internet access and have a computer, right? So there's a lot of education you guys are getting. Obviously, you know that because you're coming here to YouTube to learn what I'm doing, and there's other people who will teach you things too. But do not ever forget your local sewing machine dealers. Keep them in business, and they will keep you trouble-free. They will keep your machine trouble-free, and they'll help educate you as well. And support them. Support your local dealers, guys. Okay? All right, moving on. Let's see here. Thanks. I read the manual and still didn't know what it meant. The black button leveling foot. Some people are visual learners. Some people can read, can learn by reading. So I get it. But listen, when I taught across the country, I had women come to my classes that had the basic budget machine all the way up to those $10,000 machines. Now they go up to $20,000. Many of those women didn't even know what the black button foot was, and it was in their instruction manual. If that black button foot came with your instruction manual, came with your machine, it will be in your instruction manual, okay? And a lot of people never read their instruction manuals, and it's proven on these sewing groups. You go to Facebook sewing groups, and people are asking all these questions. Like, the biggest question I see is, they'll take time to take a picture of a foot that came with their machine, and they'll post it on the Facebook group, and they'll say, what is this foot? It came with my machine. All you got to do is open your instruction manual, and there's a diagram of accessories that came with your sewing machine, and it'll tell you what that foot is, the name of that foot. Take the name of that foot, go to YouTube, enter the name of that foot, and with a sewing machine attached, name on the search line, and then videos will come up showing you what that foot is and how to use it. That's the easiest way to learn, guys. Okay, but I see so many people do not do that, and for me, it's the first thing I do. Go to Google, go to YouTube, and a lot of people, especially newbies, they don't do it, and I don't know why. They're on that phone texting all day. There's no reason why they can't, and they're watching videos already. They're watching Kim Kardashian, they're watching all these other people, they're watching YouTube tutorials on makeup, they're watching this and that. That's no different than looking up what a type of presser foot you have in your instruction manual, and then looking it up on YouTube and learn how to use it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I've seen it. It doesn't matter what level sewing machine you have, how much you can afford. I've seen it with everybody not reading the manual about that foot. That's why I did that video. Okay, let's move on. Rohaya Yomat? Oh, God, I probably butchered that name. I'm so sorry. Wow, very nice video content, my friend. Stay safe and see you again. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Here she is again, complimenting my free motion video. Thank you again. All right, LK, I have the Brother Pacesetter PC7000. It does embroidery too. Comes with PC design cards that insert in the side. I love it. The problem is the LCD window is smoky but not visible. Can't seem to get inside it to clean. Brother Tech didn't seem to want to be bothered. Any suggestions? And this is from LK. I'm going to talk to you about a couple things here. First of all, these machines that are older, like what you're seeing there, that I have and what you have, the technology for computer machines was still new. Okay, I did a video on taking my machines to the sewing machine doctor. You can look up that video on my YouTube channel. And I took pictures when my repairman opened up the sewing machines to show you the inside. One of my machines is a Bernina Burnett Deco 500 that I bought in the middle 90s. That screen died on me. It so happened that my repairman had another exact same model of my machine that someone traded in, and their screen was still working. So he said, come on, I'll replace it for you. So I took it in, he replaced it with the other person's screen, and that screen was very dim and foggy. But I'm still able to use that machine. You'll see what I'm talking about in my video. I did that video taking the sewing machines to the doctor. Just look it up in my do a search on my channel for sewing machine to the sewing machine repair doctor. Anyway, so those older machines, the mechanics are beautiful inside, but companies stopped making replacement computer boards for them, and that's pretty damn sad because they're contributing to the landfill. These are damn nice machines. They're made really well. They've got an internal all aluminum frame. Now, I was watching a documentary on YouTube by the CBC, Canadian Broadcast Company, on Consumer Reports, Consumer Digest, Consumer Investigations. And what they did was they were investigating why people's appliances were breaking after a year or two, and people couldn't get replacement parts for their models. So they did an investigation. Every time they went to the website to order a replacement part, out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. Well, what happened is that these manufacturers stopped making that particular part for that particular model machine, forcing you to have to buy a new model. Well, Canada came to America, and said, hey, what's going on? Well, of course, America's going to stand up for the capitalists, and they're going to say, well, according to our statistics, people get 7 to 10 years usage out of these machines. 7 to 10 years? Are they kidding me? Do you remember when your great-grandmother's refrigerator was still working? She gave it to you, and you put it in your garage as a second refrigerator? And that refrigerator was over 50 years old? Hello? What happened to the days when you made appliances that worked for a long time? And that is why people buy vintage sewing machines. They call them those old tanks, all mechanical, because they have lived through many, many, many generations. They've been around since the early 1900s and maybe even before. And those things are so popular because if a part breaks for it, it's easily replaceable because it's mechanical. Now, the CBC went overseas and found out that a couple European countries got together, the governments got together, and they passed a law over there that these manufacturers have to keep making replacement parts for these appliances for 10 years. And if they don't have a replacement part, they have to replace the whole appliance free of charge to the consumer. Now that's the way you do business. That's the way business should be run. None of this, after a year or two it breaks and you throw it out. That's bullcrap, People don't make that kind of money. There are a lot of people out here not making enough money to get by. And these appliance companies just keep wanting to charge people more and more. People never get out of debt. If we're supposed to be a country, the America, for example, I'm talking about America because this happened all over the world, but let's talk about America where I'm from. If we're supposed to be the number one country in the world, I don't see how. Because we're not making products that last anymore. You know what I'm saying? We're not even making products in our country anymore. Our country sold our blueprints to foreign countries. If we're in a world war, we're screwed. If we get into a war with like China, for example, we are screwed. Look what happened during COVID. We couldn't get masks. And the sewing machines on the shelves at Walmart were completely sold out. Suddenly, everybody wanted to become a sewer. And we don't make machines in the United States anymore. Hell, fabric's not even made in the United States anymore. Maybe you're lucky if there is one or two companies that make select type of fabrics. But this COVID lockdown and pandemic last year proved how helpless Americans became with getting products and supplies. I buy throwaway masks for my clients who don't have masks when they come into the salon. Every box I looked at to purchase, it said, guess what? Made in China. Even after all of that happened, after all the tax breaks that the previous president gave corporations, we still have made in China on everything. Now, I'm a sewer, so I make my own masks for myself to wear. And I was making masks for my clients too. But then I said I need to make get some throwaway masks to give to clients who forget to bring their own. But yeah, we still got boxes that say made in China. What did we learn? What did we learn? Nothing. This country learned nothing. So, getting back to replacement parts, here's the deal. If anyone's going to buy a used sewing machine, check to make sure that screen is nice and bright. And I'm going to tell you something. When I first was learning how to sew, I had a sewing machine dealer screw me big time. This is how little I knew. I found a used Janome 8000 that I absolutely always wanted. All I had up until then was basic computer and a basic mechanical, and I had a computer sewing machine from Sears with just a little LED screen. It was nothing. But this one had a beautiful touch screen. So I said to the dealer, this was used, and I said, the screen seems a little bit dim. I can barely see. She goes, it's because we're under bright fluorescent lights. When your sewing room, it's not going to be like that, so you'll be able to see it better. And I thought, she's right. In my sewing room, I don't have big bright lights right over a computer screen. I have it in front of my needle. I put it on layaway. I bought it. I came home. The screen was still dim in my room. I got screwed. So finally it died, and I called Janome. I complained, told them what the dealer did to me. They had me send it to Jersey. They sent it back. They cracked my case. The bobbin sensor was on, and then the screen ended up dying a couple weeks later. What did I accomplish? I lost $600. because I wasn't smart enough to know, because no one told me, because I believed that dealer because I didn't know anything else. This was all new to me. You know, computer technology was still new to me back in 2000. Okay? So anyway, and I guess computer technology was still new to the sewing machine companies as well. Because by the time 2000 came along, that machine was more than used, and that's what happens. Everything wears. Just like that one I took to the sewing machine repair that I told you about, where the screen died. That machine I bought in the early 90s, middle 90s. So anyway, until consumers start complaining and raise their opinion and boycott, but it's never going to happen. I'll tell you why. Every time a brand new top-of-the-line sewing machine comes out, these little old ladies are running to replace what they already have, and there's nothing wrong with what they already have. But they've got to have the newest and the greatest. The good part about that is that machine that's still good is going to be sold as used, and someone will get a better deal on it than they did if they bought it brand new. Here's the bad part. Now that sewing machine's been replaced with the newest and greatest, the company stopped making replacement parts for it. And eventually that machine that has great eternal parts is going to end up in a landfill. Or it's going to end up on the shelf of some repairman. Like my repairman had one that he replaced the board for me, but the board was still gone. You see what I'm saying? So it happens in all appliances, babe. So you take a risk when you buy a used computerized sewing machine. Just make sure you check that screen, okay? I hope that helped you. I know it was I went on and on and on, but it's true with everything today. All right. Such a cool video. Hope New York City can light up again. This is from NMCL. Oh, yeah, I loved it. And went to visit my friend Kenneth, and he's such an amazing designer, and he's a teacher at FIT. Just amazing to go there. And the sad part about what's happening in New York City before the pandemic is that these buildings have been outpricing the rent for these mom and pop shops. Now, New York City especially was built on mom and pop shops, okay? And mom and pop shops are no longer existing. They're going away faster than you can blink an eye to see them, because these corporations are moving in. You have corporate coffee shops, corporate this, corporate that, and they're moving into these spaces that were once there in the garment district for the fabrics and everything, because somebody greedy wants more and more money for rent, and this is what's happening. And it's sad, because mom and pop shops are what built the country. And that's why I tell everybody, when you buy something, find something local. When you buy a sewing machine, go local. Buy from your local sewing machine dealer. Because if you help put them out of business, who's going to fix your machine when it breaks? Who's going to teach you how to sew when there's no place to go? Who's going to have that presser foot when you need today, instead of waiting for it to come in through Amazon? You know, and this Amazon has destroyed a lot of small businesses as well. But that's a story for another day. So I can ask you people, please support your local independent sewing machine stores for sewing. They're so important to have. And when they're gone, you're going to ask why they're not there. And then you can ask the person before you who always shopped on Amazon why they destroyed small business. Okay? All right, let's move on. Karen Dowd, curious, where can I find that symbol reference chart that you have on top of your machine? That's for my Janome MC9000. That came with my machine, Karen. So I don't know where else you could find one. Try a sewing machine, local sewing machine dealer. Call Janome, see if they know where you can track one down. That's all I can say. Maybe join a Janome group and see if they have one. Somebody can, direct you to one. Thanks for the question. Let's see here. This is from Josephine Schutt. Hi, got my new Futura XL 580. Great on the embroidery, but cannot get it to sew. I need help, please. Okay, if you can't get it to sew, take it to a local sewing machine repair shop and have them look at it for you. If you can't get it to sew, there's a problem with the machine. So take it local and have a repairman look at it for you. Linda I in Georgia. How about adjusting the horizontal bar? That's on my Singer 401 quilting foot. Fail. Yeah, I tried everything, sweetie. It just didn't work. Just wouldn't work. Thanks for the suggestion. Travis Smith. Thanks for sharing this tutorial. Very helpful, motivating. That's on the free motion video. You're welcome, Travis. Glad it helped you. Teresa Scanlon. What size is yours? Okay, whatever the biggest size was for that machine I was using is what size it is. So they have all different sizes for your machine. That was on the Mighty Hoop made in USA. All right, Elise Preston, where can I buy the side dispenser for sewing with metallic thread? I think I explained that in my video. I must have told you that in my video. And if not, read below the video in the description box, and I usually post things there as well. AGM looks great and awesome. As someone about to quilt for the first time, this is perfect for me. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. A little story about this video I did. When I first did this video and posted on some quilting groups, I about got crucified by some of these, they call sewing quilting police. And I'll tell you why. They have been laying their hands flat on the fabric and using those Pillsbury Doughboy gloves forever to push the fabric around. I come in and I show them this way, and not only is this better on your shoulders ergonomic wise and everything, but they just couldn't believe that someone like me was coming in and trying to show them something. So if it works for you and you're having success, thank you, I did my job, because I know I get success. I've got bursitis in my shoulders, and doing it this way and using the Martelli hoop make a big difference, and you can make it helps you to quilt a lot longer. So you're welcome. Enjoy. All right, Janet Cousins. Hi, Christopher. Happy 2021. Back at you. Well, thank you very much. Esther, the one. Okay, Esther, thank you. Siri Shetty. Lovely episode with Nancy. Was a warm, wonderful, and talented person. Glad I can call her friend. Miss her. Rest in peace. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Nancy was just... Oh, it broke my heart when she died. That poor woman. She had been through so many medical problems her whole life. It was like she was born to be in pain and porn. You know, this woman was so gifted, and she gave everything to people. She just gave everything to people, and God bless her. God bless her. We all miss her. We all miss her so much. There's no day that goes by I don't think of her. And I have to thank her for kickstarting my sewing career. She really helped me when my book was published, and I thank her. She recognized my talent. She recognized my ability. And by the way, I was only the second man in history of Sewing with Nancy, after like 25, 30 years, I think at that point, to have a dedicated show with her. The other guy that had a dedicated show with her by himself, like I was Philip Pepper. God rest his soul, he's dead. He used to do heirloom embroidery for FAF. He was phenomenal. I learned heirloom embroidery by watching, heirloom sewing by watching him. So I was the second man in history to be the single male sitting with Nancy to have a show dedicated to my artwork. So that was quite an honor, because Nancy never really invited men on to sit and sew with her. So I was very, very flattered and honored and beside myself and so grateful to her. She's just wonderful, just wonderful. Okay, Chris Castanilla. Question and answer. Hello, I am very much thankful for your videos. I recently bought a Singer 550 XL, and you are a huge help. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're welcome. You know, when I was gifted those machines from a friend of mine, when she was downsizing her studio, she asked me if I wanted them. I said, yeah. I figured out the problems people were having, and that's why I made all the videos on the Singers and posted them. And I tell you what, those Singer embroidery machines, my results on them for embroidery rival those of my $8,000 embroidery machine. So yeah, glad they helped you. Let's see here. This is from a Cana. I'm not even going to try to destroy that name. Okay, Cana or Cana. Thanks for sharing. This type thread spool is quite rare nowadays. Not available. I don't know. I see those kind of spools everywhere. So I'm not sure what you're saying, but I see those type of spools everywhere. Okay, Katie Rossell. In the Futura software, when you are given the pictures of each embroidery step on the right and the pictures on the left, you can click, hold, and drag the step pictures to different spots on the side step. This gives you the ability to begin with the closest step to the needle instead of the furthest away. Oh God, this is really long. I'll have to read that later. Thanks for your post. I will go through that later. Thank you. Okay, Burnett Sankar. Okay, I'm not even going to pronounce that one, but you can see her. She said, Burnett SG3 is creating loud stone grinding noise even when there is no cloth stitching. Take it to your sewing machine dealer and have them look at it. Have them look at it. Probably sounds like it needs some repair. Ann Graff says, what kind of foot are you using? And does Baby Lock make and sell a foot for sewing leather from my Elissimo? And this is my faux leather vinyl. It is a Teflon foot I'm using. And visit your local sewing machine dealers like Baby Lock, and they will show you the foot and sell it to you. So you need to go visit more at your sewing machine dealer, babe. Okay, Janet Cousins. Hi there, Christopher. Thank you for sharing all of your hints and tips and knowledge on just about anything sewing surgery. You're welcome, and if I did something that helped you, that pleases me to know that you have better sewing now. Evelyn, thank you for this video on the embroidery. Yes, you're welcome, Evelyn. Hope you get some great accomplishments from it. You are great at this. I have mine. This is from Shar. I have Shar Wellman. You are great at this. I have had my 9000 for 10 years and finally know how to attach a hoop and use the embroidery. That's the MC9000. Well, you're welcome. I personally just picked up my instruction manual and started looking through it to learn how to do it. That's how I learned. So I'm glad you figured it out. Thank you. Okay, Lorraine Logan. Let me go back up here. Lorraine Logan, thank you so much for your upfront honesty. Oh yeah, I've always enjoyed your sewing videos. I have a Singer 401A, and you have walked me through a few problems. Well, good. I'm glad I helped you. And thank you for posting. My Memory Craft Janome MC9000 is jammed and doesn't work. Please tell me what's wrong. Well, baby, I can't tell you what's wrong. I'm not sitting there in front of it to look at it to see. There's so many factors to look at in sewing. So what I'm going to suggest you do is take your machine to your local sewing machine repair person and have them look at it for you, okay? That's the best thing for you to do. All right? Thanks for the question. All right. Antoinette Song. I've had this machine for at least 4 years. I just started using it this past year. I can't wait to try the embroidery part. Thanks for your information and videos. You're welcome. That's on the Singer SEQ S6000 Quartet and Sulky Metallic Thread. All right, Hope. Do you still use this machine for embroidering? What needle type should I buy? Singer Regular Point 9014. Look in your manual. Open up your instruction manual, Hope, and read it. It'll tell you what to use, and then go to the sewing needle chart. Find a sewing machine company. I did a video on sewing machine needles, so check them out, okay? And then when all is said and done, if you still don't know, call Singer. Singer will help you, okay? This one says, is there any way to copy save the designs from the cards to a computer? I have the USB card reader. Mine is 2002, I believe, so I can upload the machine with the USB port. Okay, well, this is the Brother ULT 2003D. You know, the only thing I've ever done with this is I have a software program, and then I transfer the design to a disk, because I still have the floppy disk. I have a floppy disk external box. I had to buy it extra for this. And then I just transfer it to that, take it out, and load it up onto my machine. So I've never really tried what you did, but let us know when you figure it out, okay? Appreciate that. All right, Jason Okoa. Does this model have USB on the ULT? No. Okay, and then I have a reply from the lady above here that asked me a question on how to save the designs. She says, no, but you can upload it. But yeah, these series were excellent. New ones have smaller screen material. It's not the same, but I recommend you to buy a more modern model unless you really like the one I have. Now, listen, guys, I did see on YouTube where people are buying USB drives and replacing the USB drive, taking the floppy drive out and putting the USB drive in. I've seen that on YouTube. There are YouTube videos of people doing that. So you both might want to check that one out. Okay, Marie Fountain, great advice. Thanks on the leather embroidery test, part 2. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing this with us. Another on the free motion embroidery. You know, the free motion embroidery video is really popular. You know, I think I got the highest hits ever on that one. And yeah, so that's a good one to watch, guys. That's a very good one to watch. Okay, I love this video but can't find part 2. Dressmaking the bodice. You know what? I made the skirt and then I sold the skirt and the bodice, and I forgot to do a video on the skirt. So I apologize. I apologize on that. Very much apologize. So there is no part 2. Okay, Kathy McCauley, I love your style. It reminds me of Give Me a Man a Fish. Give a man a fish and he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish and he eats for a lifetime. I learned all I know, well, almost from Google and YouTube. Yeah, there's so much to learn today. There's no excuse not to learn anything today with YouTube and Google. Like I said, back in my day, we didn't have the computer. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have Google. All we had was videos in the back of sewing magazines, maybe some sewing TV shows on PBS, and books that you would buy at your local sewing machine stores. That's how we learned, if we didn't have someone in our family to teach us. All right, so, oh, and then the sewing machine dealers, they really didn't have many classes back then like they do now. But yeah, okay, are you able to do another update review on this machine on how it's holding up after a few years? And that's my Juki F300. And so, oh, they're still open, they're still going well. I still use them. They're still doing very well. Very well. All right, Laura E. Hi, Christopher. I learned how to sew for my mother and a family like my aunt. I learned how to sew like factory industry for my mother, who sold her clothes. And then I found Nancy Zeman, and then you being on her show. You're right about the fabric shivering. That's why it's always good to watch and label your videos. It's to keep me refreshed on my skills and to keep me informed. Love watching you and listening to your ideas and thoughts. Keep them coming. Well, thank you very much, Laura. Thank you. Okay, here's Laura again. I have the Singer XL550. Did you ever use the endless hoop on that machine? No, I have not, Laura. Thanks for the question. Here's Laura again. Thanks for being you. I watch your videos over and over again. Thanks. I hope you're learning a lot, Laura. Thank you. Spat7378. I lived in Dallas, Texas during the AIDS crisis of the 80s and 90s. I counted 45 friends and acquaintances who died of AIDS. It was a depressing time. Yes. Yes. And just equally depressing is last year and still this year with people dying from COVID. Yeah. And sadly, the government for both viruses and diseases treated AIDS and COVID the same way. And that's the sad thing. They treated AIDS the same way that they treated COVID. They ignored it. So I'm glad you watched that, and thanks for your comment on that. It's very sad. Sherry Smith, great session. Thank you. You're welcome. Lucy Wyatt, absolutely do the embroidery. Oh, that was on my salon apron. Thanks. Yes. Yes, Lucy, we love our embroidery. All right, Linda Harris, please help. Please help me. My machine keeps on saying hoop size smaller than design, the bigger the small. I had service and a new sensor was fitted, but the problem prevails. My new hoop won't fit. Oh Lord, you know what I would do? Take it back to where you had it serviced. And then if you have a laptop computer with the software, take it in, hook it up, and show them what it's doing. And have them figure it out for you. If all else fails, call Singer and have them walk you through that. Okay, babe? All right. Because when that happens to me, I just reduce the size. That's all I do. Okay, welcome back as usual. You are on point. Thank you. I try. You know, I just speak the truth. I speak the truth that I see. First time listening to... This is from Christina. Oh, did I mention the other girl beforehand? That was Bila33. Welcome back. As usual, you're on point. Thank you, thank you. Okay, Christina, first time listening to a sew and chat was very informative. Thanks. We'll be back for the next one. You're welcome. Thank you. Like I said, I just speak from my heart. This is the way I vent. I vent on my sew and chat videos. If you don't want to listen to politics, don't watch those videos. If you're here for sewing, just watch my tutorials. But if you don't want to talk politics or anything, do not watch my sew and chat videos. Okay? All right. Well said. I so appreciate you. This is from Lisa Donnelly. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you. All right, whoops. Just went by a little too fast here. Come on, come on. What am I doing here? Hold on, guys. Let me go back up here. Well, I just ran through a whole lot here. All right, let's scroll down. See what I got going else here. Great session. Thank you. I already did one. Absolutely did the board. Okay, did that one already. Okay, this one is from Nancy Carla. I am glad you're back right on time. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next one. Martha Swartz, as always, honest on target. I'm glad you are back. I missed your sew and chat videos. Thank you. Thank you. I get carried away sometimes, and I know I do, but I have to speak the truth. I have to speak what's from my heart. I'm an artist. Us artists create from truth and from pain and from suffering and from happiness. And that's how we create, and that's how we design. Anyone who paints with anyone who does artwork by painting, anyone who does artwork creating with fabric, you know, things that we see that are socially unjust with others is how we create to speak, you know. So, yeah. Betsy Chung, thanks for sharing. You're welcome. Hope it helped. Mary Enos, I have a Juki F300 and wonder if you can use a thread director on it. Okay, I think I answered that question in my last videos. And yes, check with the manufacturers if you're ever in question. Okay, guys, this wraps it up for this time. I'll do another video in the future, and I just want to say thanks for being here. Thanks for watching my videos. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications button. I will be posting more and more videos coming up. And share with your friends and let them post. The more replies or the more views I get, the more I see you're enjoying the content. And I will keep making it for you. Okay? Thanks again, you guys. I appreciate it. Take care and be safe. Wear your mask and stay safe. And keep someone else next to you safe. Okay, love you all. Bye.